everyone, and welcome to this new episode. So we are joined by Emmanuel and Ruxandra, who are the co-founders of Babele. Hello, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Solen.
Hi.
Can you hear us fine?
Yeah, I think we have a small delay, but hopefully that will accelerate. And tell us about what is Babele about. I know that some people in our community, both with Changemakers Association and the Facebook group, the Global Social Lab, know about your platform. But for those who don't know you yet, I'd love for you to basically explain what's your mission and the why behind you creating that. And then we can go a bit deeper into the behind the scenes of your journey, so it can inspire other members of the community to also be ambitious with their impact goals.
Yeah, so we started Babele 4 years ago, and the vision was to support social entrepreneurs to improve their social business through the crowd. So what we created was an online platform to crowdsource their business plan and receive feedback and improve the strategy from feedback from around the world. Initially, the idea was to use it like a crowdsourcing platform, and we have over 9,000 members and over 800 business plans that were developed in the platform. But then more and more we started collaborating also with accelerators and universities and creating communities in the platform for their social innovation network. And now recently we are also working with corporations either to stimulate intrapreneurship within
social entrepreneurship
and social entrepreneurship within their companies, either to provide mentoring to entrepreneurs in the platform. You want to add something?
Wonderful.
I'm gonna wait for the next question.
Okay, very cool. That gives us a great overview of what's your mission. I'd love for you to describe, because sometimes it helps to really understand what it's all about. What's a typical day at Babele's headquarters?
So it all depends on, so we have really varied typical days. So there are the days in which we are running workshop on lean startup, on social lean startup and social business modeling for social entrepreneurs. And we do this kind of things, usually working with different organizations. So the last workshop we did was in Lesbos for integrating refugees through social entrepreneurship in Greece. And other things that we do is that when we are contacted by a social entrepreneur that tell us that they would love to receive some help, we help them do a stakeholders mapping, identify all the challenges of the startup or the social business, and then make sure that we organize a design thinking process to receive continuous feedback from these stakeholders throughout a 4 to 6 weeks plan. And then the third thing that we do is that whenever we talk with incubators and accelerators, the main work that we need to do is helping them organize the engagement strategy that they're going to have online. So it is about helping them with the communication, helping them aligning all the stakeholders, and making sure that before they actually engage their community inside the platform, they have a clear strategy on how everyone is going to be on board and engaged.
So it's a lot of conference calls and online work in the platform.
Yeah.
I see. And actually, one of the things I find very interesting in the way you work is that you actually engage and collaborate with entities that have a completely different size, so like universities or corporations. And collaboration is a topic that we love talking and investigating, because that's part of anyone who wants to, have a broader impact or even scale its venture. And I'm curious to know, like, how was the learning curve for you in dealing with those entities that have maybe a higher level of bureaucracy, or just, finding the right people inside the organization to collaborate with, and maybe if you have key takeaways for our viewers.
Yeah, the decision-taking process is very long, so sometimes it might take more than 1 year to convert a potential interested organization into a true client. So it's a lot of patience and persistence. So, for example, one thing that Manu does very good is that he's well organized, and he has a CRM where he has automatic updates of who he needs to contact again in order to keep the conversation going.
It's a lot of follow-up and finding the right person, as you said. There is not a magic recipe. You just look around in the internet before you contact someone, and most importantly, you try to be as relevant for that person as possible, so that it doesn't sound like you're sending the same email to thousands of people. So, it requires some research, and as Ruxandra says, you need to be a people. Once you have identified the organization you want to work with, you're gonna keep insisting until you find a way in.
And there is also the human touch that is very important. So this is why we go very often at conferences and try to meet as many people as possible in the real life, because it's really something different than getting in touch with somebody just online or having met that person.
Yeah, and showing up.
Yeah.
All right, very interesting. I'm also curious about your collaboration, because so you are a couple in life and collaborators in business. Actually, it's funny because we are doing those live shows every Wednesday since January, so it's been a couple of months already, and I think you're the fourth or fifth couplepreneur. And so there's a question we like to ask to the couplepreneur we have on the show, is basically, how do you manage this collaboration between you two, and if you want to share with our viewers or potentially people who want to co-create something with their partner, but maybe are scared about damaging the relationship, or I don't know what other fears you can have when you're thinking about creating something with your partner. But I'd love for you to share a bit the behind the scene of your own collaboration.
Yeah. To be clear, in our case, that's a bit strange, because, the day we met to talk about Babele, it was actually the very first day that we met at all. It was also the very first day that we decided to be together. So, the two things came actually at the same time. So I'm not saying that we recommend that to happen to anyone, because, it's kind of impossible to plan it that way. Definitely there are a few things.
But I like that you said we decided to be together, like as if it was a decision.
Yeah, sorry, that was that could have been explained better.
So he was flirting a lot.
Yes, of course. Yeah. That's what Italians whenever they want to talk about business. Anyway, so the point is, I think it's important that the common denominator cannot be just the fact of being together and being bored. And, in our case, it was really, I think we had a really strong shared vision, and that's really important.
Yes.
And then the second thing is that we were also really, we would really compensate each other. So we're really different in the way we work. So we're actually really good together, I'd say, working. And then the third thing, I think it's important to listen to each other and to always prioritize the couple, because let's be honest, if the couple doesn't work, then anything else works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What would you like to add?
Yes, I think prioritizing the couple is very important, because if you prioritize the business, the couple is not going to work, and then business is not going to work. So, yeah.
Okay,
I
very
think
cool.
that's the key takeaway from our side.
Yeah, listen to each other a lot, and like I can say that like the really challenging thing for people that are thinking to do something like that is you come back home after a day of work, and then you need to, for example, change your role from that of business partner to that of husband or boyfriend or whatever, and vice versa,
Father.
or father. So it's really important that you find a really good way, so that if you change your role and you get back to become husband, like you're also sure that your wife, she's back to wife, and she's not like keep talking about business. Otherwise, you have this kind of miscommunication, and you're talking about different things in different moods, and it's really important to play all roles and create a clear distinction between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very interesting what you're mentioning. And also, I think when people become entrepreneurs, whether it's with their partner or by themselves or with a co-founder, or whatever the situation may be, it's very important to make your personal development to your well-being, because that influences the results on the business side as well. So very cool. I have another question for you guys, and before that, I just want to give a small reminder to our viewers today who might be watching this video live while we record it. The reason why we do it live is so that you guys can also ask your own questions. So feel free to pop into the chat and let us know what you want to learn today. I'll be happy to be your voice and tell your questions out loud to Manu and Ruxandra, so that they can answer. But before that, I actually wanted to talk a bit more about the fact that you guys are, of course, working with those big entities. We mentioned the universities, the corporations, but also with social entrepreneurs. And especially because that is a group on maybe, one thing that you see social entrepreneurs do and that slow them down, or like a mistake that maybe you have seen over and over and over again because you've been in touch with so many of them. So yeah, I'd love to hear about your assessment of the ecosystem, since you're such a privileged player to have this helicopter view on what's happening on this side of things.
Yes, so the feeling is that the social innovation ecosystem is still very small at the beginning. And there is a huge problem on what it means to be a social entrepreneur on the social entrepreneur side, but also on the, let's say, investor side. And the question is how to balance the impact and the business side. So it's already very hard to be an entrepreneur, but this issue is for social entrepreneurs is it's really at the core. So there are many people that we call them butterflies, that are very well intentioned but don't have the business acumen and have difficulties in making a sustainable venture out of their project. And then it remains small and it doesn't scale. And then there are people that really want to do something, but they have a mission drift and they forget the initial objective that they had on their side. And also on the investor side, people are really talking about wanting to invest in social entrepreneurs, but then when it comes on return on investments, you realize that they have the they expect the same return on investment as normal entrepreneurs, which is impossible.
Yeah, I heard actually of impact investors expecting 30 times their investment within 2 years from social ventures, which is the same amount of ROE that you would actually expect from a startup unicorn in Silicon Valley. Yeah, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, look, so Ruxandra is absolutely right. I think that the most difficult part is how do you balance between business and impact? And I think that there is like a really beautiful example from a project that we have here in Romania, which is upcycling plastic from truck covers and training unemployable people from the poorest areas in Bucharest. And they tell us, our objective is really to bring these people to the market. So we keep them only 2 years. And during these 2 years, so we give them a bunch of training. We provide them with medical support or psychologists and so on. And when they become productive workers, we send them away. So you see, and they told us, yeah, we make money, but it's never going to be enough to cover the costs, because we are spending so much money on the social mission that it is really difficult to actually achieve full viability. And that's the reason why it's also difficult for all these organizations to scale, because there is you need money for scaling. There is the so-called scalability challenge, and no investor will ever put money on something that is burning so much cash out of the social mission. So that's a really complex situation for social entrepreneurs.
And talking about scaling, what is your ambition with Babele, and where would you like to see yourself in 5 years? Let's say that you have a magic wand, and so anything is possible, anything is doable. What would you like to
achieve?
Yeah, to see for
Babele. Sorry, Ruxandra left a second, but she went to check our little team member Ariana. So no, the idea is really easy. One thing that we are noticing is that in the social innovation sector, beyond a few elephants in the room like Ashoka, Acumen Plus, Skoll Foundation, and these large organizations, then it's full of small programs, accelerators, and incubators that we are slowly bringing into the platform. And one thing that would be really interesting is that, first of all, we try to get these organizations to work together, to exchange mentors, to learn from the best practices coming from other ventures that are probably doing something similar about 3,000 kilometers away. So it's helping interconnect all these actors that we are helping create an online ecosystem. And then the other thing is that, given that the vision was still the one of saying everyone can be a change maker, so even people that are not involved in a social venture, they could participate to social ventures, is increasing the working on participatory democracy. So working more on civic innovation and sustainable innovation in civic spaces, so that we can actually get people to participate beyond voting on whatever kind of cool initiative, but also participate to the development of these initiatives. And we are right now exploring the first pilots in a few cities. But I would hope that in 5 years that has become huge.
Okay, wonderful. And about this, alternatives to the pyramidal democracy that we have right now. Do you have case studies or an example or something that you would love to see somewhere else? Because we are a community of social entrepreneurs, but we are also citizens and global citizens. And I'm sure that in a way, like when you decide to dedicate your career to social innovation via, launching your own business, you're also probably an early adopter of those kind of civic engagement. So if you have examples or things that maybe people could see and replicate in their own community, that would be great.
Yeah. So my favorite example is happening in Sweden in a small municipality called Vuollerim. So we're talking about a municipality which is close to the Arctic Circle. It has 800 inhabitants, and as every rural area in the world, young people are going away because they are going, in this case, to the southern big cities, because in the rural areas, the lifestyle of these places is somehow dying, and every young person would love to be in a place which offer way more opportunities. And the way that they deal with that is that it happened when the municipality at some point they wanted to close the school in this village because it didn't make any more financial sense. And all these 800 citizens, they were outraged because they said, there is no way we're not going to have a school here, because then it means this place is absolutely going to die. So they decided to create a cooperative, and 150 people, they decided actually to create the first cooperative school to compensate the fact that the public school was actually closed. The project worked, and then they decided, okay, why don't we use the same model for other initiatives? So they have created a bigger cooperative with 300 citizens, and they have created a hotel. And all these 300 citizens and everybody in the village, they contributed to building, refurbishing, and organizing all the hotel, and bring people to revive actually the local community in a place which is absolutely amazing. And after that, they decided to create another cooperative and actually like work on an incubator. So it's the incubator in the smallest place I've ever heard about. So an incubator for projects in a 800 people village, and they are promoting more projects still with this bottom-up approach that are supported by the people and that are reinvesting all the profits in the benefit of the village. And I found this a really interesting model, not really for cities, because for cities we can use any kind of technology you can possibly imagine, but for all these rural areas that are dying, I think that the model of cooperatives and so many people coming together to actually promote the local economy and the local growth, it's a really, really promising model.
Yeah, so cool. I'll check it out. Very interesting. All right, so yeah, we are coming to the end of our time together today. But before we go, I have two little questions. And the first one is, hey mom.
I'm
back. Manu was talking about innovative democracy and giving some cool examples, so it was super inspiring way. But you're back for the last fun question of the day. I would love for you guys to because those interviews that we do with the show is of course to talk about social innovation and give an example also of an inspiring social venture. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us. But it's also about showing the humans behind the websites and behind the platforms, and can do and have a wonderful impact. And so talking about the humans behind Babele, I'd love for you to share, like, if you could go back to your 20-year-old self, travel through time, or send a letter, what would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
There's a non-20-year-old asking for your attention.
Yeah.
So what would you say? And then you run.
Yeah, I would say I actually, one of our key philosophy in life is no regrets. And I think we manage pretty well to do this. So actually, the only advice that I would give myself like 10 years back would be to be more relaxed and enjoy whatever my vision was, and still is. So it's just to be more relaxed. I'm usually very stressed, so enjoy more. And now I go.
And if I could come back,
enjoying the process.
Sorry, say again.
No, sorry. You go.
Yeah. No worries. Like, if I could come back, I met tons of people during the past years cooking. I cook for everyone, and we cook every week for all the people that are working with us. And hey. And so definitely, keep cooking. That's what I would say to me, when I was 20 years old. Hey.
Oh, hello, team member. That's so cool to see you three. I saw the picture, but it's the first time that I meet with you live. Hey.
Yeah.
So cool. Congrats once again. I've sent you an email when you became parents, but congrats once again. All right, so yeah, we are almost. Where can people reach you, see you, join whatever you are doing, and or maybe what do you want people to do after they watch this interview?
Yeah, through email, Skype, Hangout, we are usually a lot online, so it's easy to reach us. Yeah, if people are interested by the work we are doing, just go on www.babele.co without M. And yeah, you have our contact details there, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they have a cool social enterprise that we can help out with their strategy, to just contact us.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll put the URL of your website just below the video so that people can find it very easily and not put an M at the end. All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today and sharing all your insight. It was, I'm sure, super inspiring for our viewers, and just to see if the magic wand of your vision worked well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.